Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Explorer II Transitional Reference 16550 from the late 1980s. You can see and you can purchase this high 9 million serial number Rolex Explorer II Transitional Reference 16550 on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high-resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Rolex Explorer II 16550. Now, the Explorer II 16550 was a transitional reference. That's the name given to a large class of Rolex watches built between the late 70s and the early 90s, in general, representing features that expressed the transition of Rolex from its previous identity as a maker of upscale utility-style watches to a standard bearer of status and luxury. And this watch incorporates elements of both eras. Now, the watch is a classical 40mm Rolex case, which means it's a true 40. It's not like the modern super case that wears like a 42 or a 43. From lug to lug, because this is not a solid end-link bracelet, the watch spans a reasonable 47.3mm across the wrist. So this is an easy watch to wear in terms of lug-to-lug dimension, and if you put it on a strap, it fits even more comfortably on a small wrist, such that I believe you could wear this watch on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters in circumference. It's not a thick watch. It measures a reasonably tidy 12.4 millimeters thick, so think Daytona, and that's a most appropriate comparison since both the Daytona and the Explorer II feature fixed, low-profile conical bezels. So 12.4, it will slip underneath any dress cuff, not just the suit jacket sleeve, but the dress sleeve beneath. Now, this one's had a couple of changes over the years, service items that have updated it to a later specification, starting with the bracelet. Now, the bracelet is circa 2005. By the code that is actually stamped on the clasp itself. It is a bracelet reference 93150 with 501B end pieces, which means it's effectively a Submariner style bracelet from the mid-2000s, and that has its advantages, most notably the flip lock extension system that you can use to extend over a wetsuit, a dry suit, or more likely, if you're like me, a thick winter coat or sweater. It's a nice feature, and it's also nice to have a serviceable contemporary bracelet on the watch, since I will say that condition-wise, this one presents very nicely, but because of changes to the dial and the bezel, I consider it to be more of a daily driver, and because of the vintage status of the watch, and I want to try to fully express this, it does have some scratches that are evident on the case. We are not going to refinish it. We are respecting its position in Rolex history, as all these transitional references are now passing into the realm of true vintage as they approach their third decade and beyond. Therefore, we are not refinishing this piece. The bracelet has excellent tolerances in it because it is a newer piece on an older watch. It wears like a younger component on an older timepiece, and that's all to your advantage because this is a daily driver. As I said, there are nice gaps between the links on the underside. Even then, Rolex ergonomics were excellent gaps, allowing the bracelet to avoid pinching skin or pulling hair. The clasp beautifully intact. You can see all of the original metal as well as the stamped Rolex logos internally and the bracelet codes, which you can see quite distinctly on the interior. Now, the case itself, eyes closed, could be any number of Rolex watches, but open your eyes and you realize that this could be nothing but the Explorer II. A distinctive look, if a lower profile sports watch from the Rolex Oyster family. This was the first generation of Explorer II with an independently settable second time zone. So you were able to set the 24-hour hand and the Mercedes-style local hour hand to separate times. Before I go inboard to the dial, I want to focus on the bezel, which is a later Rolex service replacement unit. As you can see, this is not original to the 1980s. One of the reasons why I consider this one to be more of a driver than a concours example. You'll also note that the dial features no tritium signature. I estimate because of the high 900,000 or 9 million serial number that the watch was produced in 1987, and therefore it should have a tritium dial. This is a Rolex service replacement dial with white gold appliques and white gold hands. Again, one more reason why I think it's historically significant, but this is one to own and enjoy. The dial is otherwise immaculate, as are the hands, and you can see the Cyclops magnifier over the date. A chronometer, it uses the transitional caliber 3085. Now 3085 was a 27 joule automatic with a 42 to 45 hour power reserve. Chronometer certification, rather than the full balance bridge, it had a single-sided balance cock, but it was still a chronometer. It still had a Breguet overcoil for resistance to positionally or gravitationally induced timing deviation. Being of the modern generation, it was the high beat 28,800 vibration per hour beat rate. It features hacking seconds, it features the independent second time zone, and because this is a newer generation of case than the original Rolex Explorer II, it has 100 meter water resistance courtesy of its screw-down crown, so it's real-world, everyday durable. In addition to being a daily driver, it also has those qualities from a durability standpoint. A handsome and historically significant piece, a fun one to wear with a much newer bracelet and a bezel and a dial in outstanding condition. You can see this Rolex transitional reference 16550 and own it on our website.